Good morning everyone, Tater here. Welcome to Tater Games. Today we are going to be talking about new ideas and the next big genre, which we are not going to tell you, but we're going to tell you how to figure it out. So a lot of people on Discord actually struggle with coming up with good ideas, original ideas, and all that type of stuff, and I'm here to tell you your troubles are over. In a sense, they're not actually over. Because, you know, Tater, why haven't you made a very successful game yet? Because it's extremely hard to do what I'm about to tell you. So throughout the years of me living, I've actually played a lot of games, but these are the biggest ones that I've been most addicted to, and you'll notice that they are very similar to yours. Probably. So it started in the Call of Duty franchise way back in the 2000s when I decided, hey, I want to get like this game. It's got blood and gore and shooting. Anyway, I got Call of Duty and of course I was addicted to that for so many years. Then I moved away from console and started getting PC games. So Minecraft was next, and then following that was League of Legends, I believe. And again, those two took up years and years of my life, which I don't want to admit exactly. Then we move on all the way to this year, and I have been binge playing PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Battlegrounds taught me that you do not need an original idea to make millions and millions of dollars. Given you may have been a Counter-Strike player instead of Call of Duty player, Dota 2 player instead of League of Legends, and of course Minecraft is quite unique in itself in that there are not many games that are as successful or are as popular as good old Minecraft. Battlegrounds at the same time has another competitor that just so happens to be made by the exact same developer, which is King of the Kill for H1Z1. H1Z1 was a bit of a disappointment in general. I didn't actually enjoy it as much as I thought I would, and they did charge a lot of money for it, and of course it didn't run as well, and everything was just so early access, you know. Then comes PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and it just so happens that I really enjoy it. Now, why did I enjoy that, but I didn't enjoy H1Z1? Minecraft actually had another game made before it. I forgot the name. It's something minor or minus something. But, you know, that just goes to show I didn't even bother to remember the name of the previous Minecraft game that Minecraft was actually based off. When it comes to Call of Duty, you have all the Wolfenstein games, Doom, you even have the Medal of Honor games, which were extremely old, and of course Counter-Strike, all that type of stuff. The one thing that these games all did well was make a game so easy to play. I don't mean easy by difficulty, I mean easy on the eyes, easy on the ears. They polished those titles up to create their own little franchise that did extremely well. But the idea behind that is that maybe there is room for another Battlegrounds. And I can guarantee you that there is a company with quite a bit of money actually working on creating a better Battleground. Seeing that sort of success makes you want to copy it. The idea behind it is competition. In the game dev community, there will be so much competition for you guys out there that you can create an idea, somebody else can steal it and do better than you. And you know, in a sense, that is their victory and definitely not yours, regardless of whether or not you came up with the original, regardless of whether or not you think that it should rightfully be yours that was there. You did not put in the effort to get the game to the standard that they made it. It's like, are you going to play Candy Crush or a Candy Crush clone? Now, I'm pretty sure a large majority of you guys are going to say, well, I'd rather play Candy Crush. In fact, a large majority of you guys will say, I'm not going to play any of them, they both suck. But everyone moves to Candy Crush. Candy Crush is the most unoriginal idea in the bloody world. That game has been around, match 3, match 4, match whatever. That game has been around for so long. You know, before Bejeweled even, there were games like that. In fact, I do believe there are games like that in bloody board game. The point is, the idea goes back a long way. And what Candy Crush has done is just refined it, polished it up, made it so easy to play. And when I say easy, I mean that game is bloody. The progression system is perfect, but they just took an old idea, made it new, made it modern, made it nice, and everyone loves it. I do not believe there's too much shame to be had when you are creating these things. I mean, it's not like you are cloning a game exactly. You are actually improving upon somebody else's idea, which are where the best ideas always come from. So now let's take a look at what is the next big genre from my mind. Of course, your guys' research and your guys' depth into it are probably a lot more complex than mine, but I'm just going to lay out the basics of what I believe is going to be the next big thing. So we have Call of Duty, an incredibly common genre. FPS games come out every bloody day. One of Call of Duty's only flaws in the actual game itself is them making more than one sort of game a year, and progressing it a little bit too far, changing the theme a bit too much, and not sticking to the original gameplay that people really, really loved. Now they have all these futuristic weapons, and they've changed the theme a lot. They have all these different, customize your gun color and all that type of stuff, which could have stopped around Black Ops. I believe Black Ops was pretty good. I did play Modern Warfare 3, and it was getting to the point where things were just getting a little bit ridiculous, but it was the original themes that made the games popular, and in order to continue that, they should always stick with the original themes. We get so many complaints about games doing this, and oh, the second one was not as good as the first, or the third one was not as good as the second, and people always complain in that sense. It's because they loved the original so much that they cannot accept change. People hate change. For example, if I decided to do a video tomorrow about my life and started vlogging, the amount of dislikes that thing would get will be phenomenal. You guys are here for one thing, and that's game development, and unfortunately that is my curse. I cannot change too much. Unless the change is for the better of the original. So all the flaws that I'm making with these video types, probably in the future, I can fix them. So the channel started off with tutorials, I moved on to just talking about stuff, and now I've actually got the video format of it, and there are a lot more subscribers that have come just because of the new video format. Which just goes to show that you can make improvements, but you can't necessarily change the original theme. The same thing goes for all of these games. The more they progress, the more they move on. It's not something that necessarily makes it better, but those are the risks that you have to take to actually see what makes it better. And of course, then they fix it by creating this new World War II game, which could be cool. Anyway, we've talked about Call of Duty so much. We'll move on to something like Minecraft. Minecraft has not changed too much at the same time. The original game still stands. Whenever they update it, they just add more blocks and more stuff like this, so people can still play the original if they want to. There are just so many sort of new things that they can take an interest in, and they release it so slowly that there are new sort of things to use every, what is it, month or 2 months now or something like that. But the idea behind that is that they progress so slow that people just adapt to these changes and they don't actually mind so much, and at the same time the turnover for that game must be amazing. When I say turnover, I mean out with the old and in with the new, player-wise. The idea of Minecraft is that there are very few flaws. They kind of perfected the game, they did the beta, they did everything, and the game is perfect for its genre, and it will always probably be in the lead for that sort of sandbox genre. Now we move way into the future for League of Legends. Now when it comes to League of Legends, they maintain their audience, of course, by introducing new champions, keeping people very excited. Some of the flaws in the game include, well, actually I can't think of any flaws. I like to say that the game is almost perfect. There are, of course, a few individuals that will have different opinions, but as a community, I do believe we can all agree that the game is pretty well made. So there's not much opportunity for those last 3 games for you to overtake it and make a better version of it, but when it comes to Battlegrounds, there is. Battlegrounds is the new big thing. 2017, it just sprung a massive community, and of course I'm part of that community now just through word of mouth and of course a little bit, I like to say of advertising, but I just call it YouTube advertising, where you watch gamers play certain things. Node, thank you very much for introducing me. Anywho, the game itself is still in early access, therefore there is a lot of room for improvement. Now the team behind it do extremely well. They are constantly fixing glitches and constantly fixing bugs. Nearly every month there is an update of something. They've added something to the game, and of course even if this was a very few amount of developers, they are still doing an amazing job keeping this game up. However, if a bigger company comes along and actually perfects it, I do believe that they could drown Battlegrounds out. A big part of it is timing as well, so the timing of creating the genre. If you were to create a new game right now, people are still fresh on PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Why on earth would they come to your game? So you could work on your game in the meantime and try and wait for PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds to die down a bit. Then you can release PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds that is better than the original. That is this entire video in a nutshell. So the entire premise of this video is that you can make an extremely successful game with an old idea. It doesn't even need to be old, it can be fairly new. You just need to improve that idea and make it better. And you can do this in many ways. You can do this through theme, you can do this through gameplay, you can even do this through just bugs and glitches that are not fixed in one game, but are fixed in another game. And I can guarantee you that if somebody made a Battlegrounds game that was extremely similar to Battlegrounds, except fixed every little bug, made the gameplay completely linear, made maybe a few more weapons or a few more sort of random events or outcomes, or maybe people just love the simplicity, just fix all the stuff that people complain about, and you can guarantee that your game is actually going to do a hell of a lot better than Battlegrounds has ever done. So Tater, what's the next big game like you've been promising us all this time? Thumbnails? Titles? What are you, a liar? Put it this way, if I could get a degree in lying, I would apply tomorrow. I'm not a liar. I'm going to tell you that the next big game is King of the Kill, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, ... That's right, I believe that PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is not actually the final in its genre. It's not going to be the most successful in its genre. 7 million downloads is a lot, but games have done a lot better than 7 million, and I believe that this idea has potential. Of course, this is not set in stone, and this applies to many other genres. You know, this genre is not the only game that exists right now that is doing extremely well. These games overlap a lot, and of course the Call of Duty franchise may not be as popular as it used to be, but with this new installment, I do believe a lot more people are going to buy it. A lot more people are talking about it. I definitely get a lot of word of mouth coming my way. But you got to take a look at these genres and how they work. There has usually been one incredibly successful games and a lot of not so successful games in each genre. When it comes to King of the Kill and PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, they were both created by the same guy. The advantage there is that that is a single person or a single company or a single group's ideas, and you, as a developer, can improve it. However, there is one slight flaw in this entire thing that makes it extremely hard to be that next top game, and that is your skill level and my skill level. So the guys who created both of these are extremely skilled, and that is the main flaw, is that I am not skilled enough to create the entire project by myself. You may have a team though, so if you were to create a new sort of genre or new thing, then yeah, maybe it will do slightly well, but there will always be another team out there that goes, that did well, I can make a better version of it, I am going to make a better version of it. The thing is, you don't want to compete with great games. Why would you make another MOBA when League of Legends and Dota have been so extremely successful? It just doesn't make any sense why you would continue that. Why would you make another FPS when people have Call of Duty to go to? I don't believe first-person shooter games are a genre. I believe that they can be sort of categorized into different stuff. For example, Call of Duty is based on war, and similar Halo, which again I do believe was extremely successful, is a different sort of war. They're different genres and they don't really get classed as this being the same game. They have different mechanics in each, so they're not exactly the same game. However, when you got League of Legends or Dota, the gameplay is completely and utterly similar. Yes, they may look different, yes, they may have different characters, yes, there may be more to one game and less to another, but at the very core center of it all, it is basically I'm not going to say the same game because I'm going to get people pinging me out. So I'm going to say they're two similar games. We take a look at Minecraft, that popularity, dear God, do not try and compete against Minecraft. Battlegrounds is a game that kind of covers the Battle Royale genre. Not that it is a genre, yes third person, yes first person you may call it, but it covers the same premise as Battle Royale, and that entire idea has been used so little, and it's relatively new. I mean, its popularity is relatively new. So the idea that you can jump on that train is probably better than trying to create a MOBA, a first-person shooter or war game, or a sandbox game, because that genre is new, it's fresh in people's minds. Once they get used to it, you can easily link people from PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds and bring them over to your game, which is a perfected version of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. My goodness, this video has gone on for far too long, so I'm going to end it here. But again, the gaming industry is very similar to music, to books, to story, anything. Movies is another one. They share very similar themes. If you want to make a game, you have to jump on the bandwagon of what's popular. That is the only way you're ever going to get that real success. If you make an original idea, there's always the opportunity for somebody else to find the flaws in that idea and improve it themselves and, of course, publish it. Or you might just get lucky. Five Nights at Freddy's. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. If you made it this far, comment banana bread down in the description below, and we'll see how many people actually watched the entire video. Anyway, thank you guys. See you tomorrow.